Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Corporal Arthur,
Hey everyone, this is Corporal Marsh.
and we're here to go over the July ceremony. For the month of June, we had quite a few new enlistees. Private O'Mara, Private Price, Private Roca, Private First Class McIntosh, who is a re-enlistee, Private Mansour, Private Raxon, Private Kale, Private Lopez, Private Second Class Batty, Private Jansen, Private Woods, Private Second Class Sear, Private Second Class Chief, Private Second Class S. Anderson, Private Second Class Vortex, Private First Class Tail, Private Holland, Private Gustafson.
Now for some DMOS announcements. S2 is still open and looking for Zeuses to fill the positions. So if you're interested in being a Zeus and helping out during ops, please shoot a message to Captain Vandal if you're interested. Now some announcements for S3. FIG is going to be hosting a bunch of courses in July for our preparation to the Ranger School that's going to be happening August 1st and August 2nd. On July 12th, we're going to be having Airborne and Land Nav. On July 19th, we're going to be having Air Assault and Land Nav. On July 26th, we're going to be having Combat Lifesaver course and Air Assault. And in August 1st and August 2nd, we're going to be hosting Ranger School, which is sign-ups closed for on the 27th of July. Just remember, if you want to take Ranger School, you have to qualify in Land Nav in either Air Assault or Airborne. If you don't have those qualifications, you can't be a part of the course. And now for S4, Captain Vendel will be taking over as officer in charge of PMO with the retirement of First Lieutenant Tucci. And for CONE, First Lieutenant Cooper will be taking over as OIC with the retirement of First Lieutenant Tucci.
We have 4 anniversaries coming up for the month of July. Staff Sergeant B. Fitzgerald, who hit 2 years on the 4th. Sergeant Swoop, who hit 2 years on the 7th. Corporal Yeager, who got his 1 year on July 14th. And Specialist Pesci, who's going to get 1 year on the 30th. Congratulations, guys.
We also have Sergeant Owell and Staff Sergeant Fitzgerald graduating SLDC. Congratulations, guys.
And now for unit promotions. Moving up to Private First Class, PV2 Wholesome, PV2 D Thompson, PV2 S Anderson, PV2 J Hunter, PV2 Z Vortex, PV2 J Reeser, and PV2 J Winchester.
And now for promotions for specialists, E4, we have PFC Montana, PFC Scott, PFC Bishop, PFC Graves, and last but not least, PFC Martin.
And now moving on to Corporal, or E4A, we have our very own Specialist Mars. Congratulations.
And now for Sergeant E5, we have Corporal Schneider. Congratulations.
Moving up to Staff Sergeant, or E6, we have Sergeant Nagy, who will assume the role of 2nd Platoon's Platoon Sergeant. And now we have some officer promotions. Starting off with OCS, Chief Warrant 3 Lotus, who's moving up after Cooper moves to the XO for Alpha Company.
We do have a couple soldiers being promoted to captain. We have First Lieutenant Tucci being promoted to captain due to his retirement from the unit. We wish him well in his retirement. And we have First Lieutenant Vandal being promoted to captain.
And now moving on to our DMOS and Unit Service Awards. Starting off with the Good Conduct Medal, 2nd Lieutenant Duck, Chief Warrant 2 Fox, who was backdated from May of 2025, Warrant Officer 1 Brennan, Warrant Officer 1 Johnson, who was backdated to June of 2025, Specialist Erickson, Specialist Kidon, Specialist Sapp, Specialist Irwin, Specialist Hunter, Specialist Moffat, Specialist Burek, Specialist Hewson, Specialist Mechanheimer, Specialist Mensink, and Private First Class Martin.
We also have a couple soldiers being awarded the National Defense Service Medal. We have our own Specialist Scott for the service with the Norwegian Armed Forces. We also have Private Price for his service with the Latvian National Armed Forces.
And now for the Military Outstanding Volunteer Service Medal. Private First Class Scott, who donated $500, earning him the V device times 5. First Lieutenant Tucci, who donated $100 with a V device. First Sergeant Garcia, also with the V device for $100. Sergeant Starling, $100 with a V device. Specialist Sap, $100 with a V device. Private Second Class Seer, $100 with a V device. Chief Warrant 2 Fox for $50. Sergeant Pointer, $50. Corporal Erickson, $50. We also want to give a big shout out and thank you to Specialist Mickenheimer, who also donated $25.
And then for the Combat Infantry, Medical, and Action badges, getting their CIB ones, we have Specialist Hillard, BV2 S. Anderson, BV2 Batty, BV2 Holmeson, BV2 Reeser, BV2 Vortex, and Private Gustafson. Also getting their CIB2, we have Specialist Sap. And getting their CMB1, we have BV2 Hunter. And up next for the Armed Forces Expeditionary Medal with 12 months time in service with a deployment, we have Captain Tucci, Sergeant Schneider, OCS Lotus, Sergeant Pointer, Specialist Irwin, and Specialist Moffat.
And this month we have 4 soldiers earning their Joint Service Achievement Medal. Specialist Kidon as a 42 Alpha 2 Senior Roster Maintenance Specialist. Sergeant Owo as a 46 Quebec Journalist. Corporal Yeager as a 46 Quebec Journalist. And Corporal Marsh as a 46 Sierra or an anchor.
We also have Staff Sergeant Ivanov earning his Joint Service Commendation Medal for his service as a 46 Quebec journalist.
And for the Armed Forces Service Medal, you have Major LaFlash, Captain Tucci, Second Lieutenant Bird, Chief Warrant 5 Diomedes, First Sergeant Garcia, Staff Sergeant Fitzgerald, Staff Sergeant Nagy, Sergeant Pointer, Chief Warrant 2 Fox, Sergeant Zvik, OCS Lotus, Warrant Officer 1 White, Specialist Stevens, Corporal Bills, Corporal Arthur, Specialist Kidon, Second Lieutenant Duck, Chief Warrant 3 Poltrak, Staff Sergeant Donnelly, Sergeant Starling, Sergeant Nagy, Specialist Erickson, and Corporal Marsh.
And now for the Army Achievement Medal. We have Specialist Hillard, Sergeant Pointer, Private Hunter, Specialist Hayes, Specialist Allen, and Specialist Jerez.
Earning that Army Achievement Medal with V device, Corporal Marsh. Private First Class Montana, Private First Class Neff, and Specialist Stevens.
We also have 3 soldiers getting the Army Achievement Medal, but with the C device. We have Recruit Jones, Specialist Hansen, and Private Second Class Holmeson.
Earning their Army Commendation Medals, we have Private First Class Scott, Specialist Mickenheimer, and Staff Sergeant Fives.
We have 5 soldiers getting the Army Commendation Medal with C device. We have PFC Montana, PV2 Thompson, Sergeant Pointer, and Specialist Borovetsky. And last but not least, Sergeant Starling.
And for the Army Commendation Medal with V device, Corporal Schneider, PV2 Reeser, and Corporal Yeager.
We also have our very own Corporal Schneider getting their Purple Heart.
3 soldiers earning their Meritorious Service Medal this month: Staff Sergeant Fitzgerald, Staff Sergeant Donnelly, and Specialist Hansen.
We also have 3 soldiers getting their Humanitarian Service Medal. We have Staff Sergeant Fitzgerald and Corporal Arthur for gifting $50 worth of games to members of the unit. And we have Sergeant Chalk for gifting $90 worth of games for Captain Tucci as a retirement gift. Thanks, guys. And we also have Captain Tucci getting his Defense Superior Service Medal.
And we have our very own Staff Sergeant Donnelly, who was awarded the Quarter 2 Soldier of the Quarter. Congratulations, Sergeant. And last but certainly not least, we would like to congratulate Captain Tucci on his retirement from the 3rd Infantry Division. Captain Tucci, for exceptional distinguished service and selfless dedication to the 3rd Infantry Division Realism Unit. Captain Tucci's unwavering commitment, spanning over 2,448 days of active service across 2 separate enlistments, embodies the highest traditions of leadership, mentorship, and duty within the unit. We wish you all the best. And now I'm going to introduce Staff Sergeant Nagy, who's going to talk about some news from the 3rd ID.
Thank you, Corporal Arthur. I'm Staff Sergeant Nagy, and we'll go briefly over some unit news. The 3rd Infantry Division paid a happy farewell and retirement to Captain Tucci. Following his speech, the announcement was made that First Lieutenant Cooper would take over as Company XO, while Chief Warrant 3 Lotus took on the role of Detachment Commander and new responsibilities in Officer Candidate School. Best of luck, Lotus. The 3rd Infantry Division were also hosts to unit commanders from Arma Reforger. Leaders from the 75th Ranger Regiment and 183rd Air Assault viewed our unit ceremony and played a part in our Sunday operations.
Some news coming out of our DMOSs. S1 is currently hiring new recruiters. If you're interested, please see Staff Sergeant Nagy. S2 is still looking for Zeus's. Reach out to Captain Vandal. S3 is hiring for RSOs. If you're interested in teaching the future of the unit, contact Staff Sergeant Fitzgerald. S4 CID is currently hiring new multimedia illustrators, and your contact is going to be Sergeant First Class Marsh. And S4 COE is currently not hiring, but if you are interested, feel free to reach out to Chief Warrant 2, Frost, or First Lieutenant Cooper. Both S4 BMO and S6 PAO are currently not hiring.
And now some news from Arma. We have updates on 2 creator DLCs. Starting with Reaction Forces, this DLC offers new weapons, vehicles, gear, and more to rapidly react to a multitude of situations in new single and multiplayer scenarios, and to enhance your overall experience in the Arma 3 sandbox. Fight fires from above in the Cougar medium utility helicopter, or swerve from the beaten track in the Moose pickup truck to take on operations with new weapons and equipment, from rifles and pistols to remote-controlled mortars and micro-drones. And then Expeditionary Forces. Prepare your Marines for action on the amphibious warfare ship, assault enemy shores with the AAV-9, MAC IFVs, and combat boats. Bring supplies ashore with the LCC-1 landing craft, perform raids behind enemy lines with new Hunter reconnaissance vehicles, and take part in the invasion of Altus from a new perspective. Seems like something Staff Sergeant Donnelly could use for his fun ops. So today I have with me Staff Sergeant McKenzie. He is our man behind the rank for this quarter. Staff Sergeant, welcome.
Thanks for having me.
No problem. You know, I was forced to do it like this, but here you are. Oh, that's not funny. I thought that was funny, but it wasn't.
I am technically your boss. So.
All right, where did
note to the editor? Can we leave that in?
No, God, no, that was not funny. All right, Staff Sergeant. Yeah, glad to have you. I have a few questions here. I'll start off with, what's your favorite aspect of the unit?
I think my favorite aspect of the unit is the longevity that this unit comes with. We just recently had our 22nd anniversary this past July 4th. I myself, while having like breaks of service, have been here since 2016. But every time that I come back, uh, it's almost just like returning to your old childhood home. I have been here on and off since early 2016, so I think that that's probably my favorite aspect for the unit is just that longevity and just coming back to something that feels familiar.
So, the next question will be, what defines a leader to you?
I think what defines a leader to me is the ability to listen to not only your superiors but also your subordinates. Um, I come from a very long family and personal military history, and uh, a key aspect that defined my personal military career as well as like my father's was that communication is what maintains unit cohesion. So I think that a really good aspect of the of leadership quality is just that personal development to actually be able to listen to both sides of that leadership chain.
Definitely, communication's up there. And as a key member of our leadership, how do you go about solving inter-unit issues?
I think that a really big part about um, inner unit issues is that it's a lot more personal when you think about it. It's if it's between two people who have been
Microphone
here,
muted.
if it's between two people who have been here for multiple years at a time, they probably have some kind of bond. And there's obviously something that's kind of driven in between that. So it's a lot more personal in that way, and I think a good way of solving that is just kind of reminding each other where we first started and where we came from, and who we came here with. I think that's a really good thing to kind of just remember. It's just a video game, and everyone here is a friend. There's no reason to be upset about anything too seriously.
Microphone
Yeah,
activated.
definitely. Sometimes it's, good to step back and realize what exactly we're doing here. So where do you see yourself in this unit by the time you retire?
Uh, well, I am uh, about halfway through my third year of my current service. Um, so the idea of staying here to like my 5 year anniversary is rapidly approaching, and I think that as of right now, because I'm the senior detachment NCO for 3 cab, um, is I hope to see myself. First of all, I hope to see my another promotion around the corner. Maybe I can get sergeant first class before I really start considering retirement. But also just seeing the future development of 3cab in not only our leadership but also just the lower enlisted and the junior warrant officers.
Definitely. And then what do you do in your free time outside of Arma?
I'm a very big gym advocate. I push a lot of like health and positivity with your mind and body. I am also a guitarist for a local band. We play a lot of shows in like the downtown area of where I'm from, uh, and I also I'm a bartender on the IRL side, so I do frequent the downtown nightlife a lot.
What kind of music do you guys play?
So we're a metalcore band. If you think of like say early A Day to Remember, probably I guess like more later Bring Me the Horizon type of things. I'm
Parkway
a
Drive.
guitarist. Yeah, I'd say we'd be a little bit more on the Parkway Drive side of things. Uh, our singer is not uh, fully there as far as vocals go, but we've got a decent following, and we're looking to start recording our first album. We have a couple of singles out on Spotify.
Awesome. And then one last one based off this. What's your favorite drink as a bartender to make and
You know,
take?
you can never go wrong with a whiskey old fashioned. It is
I love
a
an old fashioned.
It is a classic drink. I love also making tequila old fashions. If anyone out there is a fan of cyberpunk, the Johnny Silverhand, if you look at the recipe, is a tequila old fashioned with a Mexican beer on the side. So you can make a whiskey old fashioned with a slice of jalapeno and an estrella on the side.
I love the Spanish pronunciation there.
Yeah, you gotta throw it in there just a little bit.
All right. What would you say builds a good bond between superiors and subordinates?
Considering that we're an online community, gaming is probably like the best thing, and it doesn't always have to be Arma. Um, I haven't said it yet. I am the NCOIC of Public Affairs, and on one side of that is our broadcast combat journalist. Shout out to Sergeant Starling who edits these. Um, but outside, we can all play games outside of Arma. Even if we're playing in Arma, they're not always usually our Sunday operations. Staff Sergeant Donnelly just finished a fun up that lasted, what was it, 2.5 hours, I believe.
Yeah, about.
Yeah, and like just to get people together.
I think a big one that's popular in 3 Cab is also Space Marine too, right?
We're 3Cab is a huge collection of Warhammer nerds. Last week we had a 6-hour run of Siege mode off of Space Marine 2, and then myself and Warrant Officer Thorne have been trying to get together on playing Star Wars as well, the Old Republic.
Oh, nice. That's the MMO, right?
Yeah.
Well, that kind of ties into my next question, which is, what is your relaxation game?
So, my girlfriend loves.
Don't say Arma 3.
No, absolutely not. My girlfriend loves sim games, like not the Sims, but like simulator games.
Like
So,
City Skylines?
Not even City Skylines. No, she is a huge. She's a huge addict on House Flipper 2 right now, and so anything that she plays and she finds out that there's a co-op mode, I will end up playing as well. So weirdly enough, my relaxation game is multiple games that just kind of fit into the like simulator genre. So like House Flipper 2, Stardew Valley is another one, because if you believe it or not, that's like a farming simulator game in a way.
You guys should play Farming Simulator. It's a really fun one. I actually enjoy that one a lot myself.
Yeah, that's the next one that she wants to do.
Yeah, it's fun. It's really good. So if there's one thing you could change in the unit, what would it be?
I absolutely think that the stigma of promoting your friends over experience is a big one. I know that it's been curbed a decent bit, but as a senior leader in the unit, I absolutely do still see that there are people who are getting promoted, especially to becoming the junior NCOs that we see. I absolutely do see that still happens, where we're getting people who need a little bit more time to define their or redefine their skills or learn new skill sets before we actually start sending them to WLC or any kind of other like leadership school or promotion boards or anything like that.
Yeah, definitely. A strong NCO core is highly valuable to the unit. A weak one is a detriment. All right, Staff Sergeant, what's a good memory of the unit that you have?
A lot of it comes back from when I first got into this unit in 2016. I believe I got in like March or April of 2016. I was a brand new private in the U.S. Army, and I saw this unit with like I believe somewhere around like 160 people. So I had just graduated OSIT. I went to infantry school, got stationed at Fort Campbell, Kentucky, and I didn't have a reliable PC, especially one that like I had from home in Southern California. I ended up buying a cheap $500 computer at the local BX, on base, and decided to join this unit. So I loved the idea of wanting to play Arma, but I couldn't run Arma 3 at the time. So I joined Bravo Company when we used to have Bravo Company, and that was a mix between America's Army Proving Ground and Insurgency. So I was officially a part of Second Squad Reapers, Bravo Company, 1st Platoon, 2nd Squad Reapers under, I believe it was then Staff Sergeant Jasmine Johnson. Big shout out to her because she was also, at the time, the NCOIC of Public Affairs back then. And I was still barely running AAPG back then at like 20 frames. But I think that the best memory that I have was being there at that moment in 2016, where we had, I think, the highest number of military personnel that you can just kind of like hear all their stories from. She's now a retired First Lieutenant, Jasmine Johnson, but she was a crew chief in the Air Force. And me and her were like, talking about, what very little, like 6 months of stories that I have, just from OSA, whereas she had, I think it was like 5 or 6 years, I can't exactly remember, in the Air Force. So I think like that there was that Captain McGuffey, who did my first ever WLC when I first became a corporal back then. Yeah, I mean, I could go on and on, but yeah, that's probably like the best memory that I have is just that entire block in 2016.
Did people ever give you flack for being an 11 Bravo in real life and then being an 11 Bravo in a video game as well on the weekends?
No, but I think the reason why is because the leaders that we had back in 2016 were absolutely a lot more hua than the leaders that we have now. And I'm not saying that we're not still fairly hua, but it's to the point of where like they sleep instead of having Z's coming out, when they're sleeping. It's just all huas.
Yeah. Well, that kind of ties into the next question, which is what got you into Arma and kind of like the milsim online space in general?
So back in like 2010, 2011, when I was still rocking the 360, the Xbox 360, there were 2 games that I was playing a lot at first, which was Battlefield 2, or Bad Company 2. I'm sorry, Battlefield Bad Company 2, and I believe it was Halo 2. And both of those were weirdly in like the Realism community. They had a community of Realism players back then, even on the 360, where you're not really getting a whole lot of mods unless you do some like really funky, black magic of using thumb drives and putting mods on there and then putting them into your 360 and doing all kinds of code stuff. So I would join clans on Halo 2 and Bad Company 2, where there was a rank structure and there were obligations that had to be met. And for me, as a stupid, 9-year-old, wanting to, hearing all the war stories from my dad and then hearing stories from other people online, and then wanting to do that and then just doing it in video game form, like I thought that was the coolest thing. Once I joined the Army, and I had buddies who had much cooler PC setups than me, and I could like see them playing like over their shoulder. Arma was like the next biggest thing. Probably could have, done a little bit better saving money to buy a better PC, but what can you do? I loved when I first got into the unit and was playing AAPG and Insurgency at that time.
Right on. And then outside of being a leader, has there been any other role you wanted to try? Squad medic, FO, something like that?
So there are very few roles in this unit that I haven't been at this point now. I've been a radio operator. I've never been a forward observer. I was a platoon medic, an assistant platoon medic. I've never been a platoon sergeant or higher. I've been a fire team leader. I've not been a squad leader. I've been a squad medic and a regular fire team member. All the roles inside of that as well. I was the first medic when 2nd Platoon had started up. I was the platoon medic for 1st Platoon, became a squad medic for 2nd Platoon because we didn't open up the platoon side of it yet.
You were on LOA when I joined 2nd Platoon, I remember.
Yeah, so I deployed to Iraq in November of 2023, and I was a squad medic at that time. Because at November of 2023, we still hadn't opened up 2nd Platoon headquarters yet, like as far as we have now. Mm-hmm. But then I came into 3CAB when I came back from deployment, became a flight medic, flight medic, and then later on transitioned into air traffic control operator, and now I'm the detachment senior NCO. So I've been just about everything. I think the only thing that I haven't really done is platoon leadership. However, the other role that I haven't done, which I think might be my next one if I decide to do the lateral, is becoming an aviator.
Yeah, right on. Flying the helicopters is pretty cool.
Yeah.
And then lastly, what would you say to your fellow soldiers?
I would absolutely say that everyone needs to just like take a step back and just kind of self-reflect when situations get difficult. I know that a big thing that we all talk about in the dark corners of our channels and everything like that is the idea of switching over to Reforger. I would love to switch to Reforger. Personally, if I'm going to be speaking outright, I would love to switch to Reforger, but I still do have faith in those who are in C staff, and I have faith that they know what they're talking about and why we are sticking with Arma. We've been with Arma since 2013. I know that they have plans for the future. So I absolutely think that we all just need to kind of take a step back and just realize that there are plans in place and stuff like that. We just kind of need to stick together when when the times are getting tough. We're having a big boom of new enlistees who are coming in right now, and we'll get a drop off again. We'll stagnate around August all the way up until early October when we start getting a drop off for the holiday season, and then we'll pick back up again next year in 2026. So I think that's the best thing that we all need to do is just stick together and realize that there is a plan. You just need to stick it out.
All right. Well, thanks, Staff Sergeant McKenzie. That'll wrap up the man behind the rank, and I'll hand it off now to Corporal Althor for his interview with Staff Sergeant Donnelly for Soldier of the Quarter.
Thank you, Staff Sergeant. It is my esteemed pleasure to introduce Staff Sergeant Donnelly, 3rd Infantry Division, Soldier of the Quarter. Welcome.
Thank you for having me.
So I'm going to start with the easiest question I can think of. Tell me a little bit about yourself.
I'm a pretty simple guy. Currently, I'm a tattoo artist here in Orlando. Been doing that for the past couple of years, and I love it a lot. Just if I'm not here online, playing with my buddies in some video games, I'm usually out in nature. I'm going out hiking, going just pretty much anything outdoors is what I like to do. Yeah.
So drawing on people permanently and touching grass. I love it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, can't spend all my time behind a screen, That's not like some of these guys.
Yeah, no, I feel you. So what prompted you to join the 3rd ID, and what keeps you here?
I joined back in December of 2021. Buddy that I've done Milsim before, back on Battlefield 4 on Xbox One. He invited me to come and join a unit that he's been doing it with 3rd ID for a little bit. Shout out to my boy Lewis. And I was looking for more of a more serious milsim like that I found here. ones that actually has organization, because as you know, the more chill they are, the less organized and how well they function together. Thank God that I found this unit, because they're very good at what we do. And I say here honestly, I have a lot of time. I have a lot of fun building missions in S2 and Zeus, and I just for all my friends as well.
Well, I definitely have a fun time dying in your mission, so thank you for all that you do.
You're welcome.
So you did mention that we're a pretty serious milsim here, and we are, but there's still going to be some pretty fun times, like you said. We're just coming in and we're hanging out with the boys. What do you think is your favorite, funny, or memorable moment that's happened while you've been here?
God, there's been so many. It's really hard to choose. Yeah, if it comes down to my favorite moment in the unit, by far would be just the fun ops that have been running recently. Seeing everybody enjoy them and actually hear back that people are starting to really enjoy the missions again, and instead of just constant complaints about how the operation went, all these different issues that was going on, it's really nice to see that people are really enjoying it and having fun again.
Yeah, it's definitely a nice reprieve to get together with the other people in the unit outside of the weekend. What army value is most important to you, and why?
Yeah, so out of all the Army core values, I'd have to choose integrity.
Microphone muted.
It's really important, especially in an online game environment like we are. We don't really see mannerisms, we don't see body language, we don't really hang out in person. It's all over voice. So it's important to keep your integrity, be honest, because if you fuck up your word and people don't trust you anymore, don't believe you, then especially in this environment, it's extremely difficult to earn that back if you ever even do. So it's just important just to keep that in mind, especially in a situation like this.
Absolutely. What motivates you to keep pushing forward in the unit? And do you have any goals for your future within the unit?
Honestly, I'm very happy in my position as NCOIC of S2. Being Zeus, I have a lot of fun just making missions in general and seeing how they play out and how everybody functions from above. It's really interesting to see what we do, what we mess up, and how we can do better in the future. Pretty much the people to motivate me to stay here is the people that everybody in the unit, and just actually everybody having a lot of fun, like I said, with missions and everything. That's really what keeps me going here.
This is one that's going to pique the interest of Donnelly here. And now I'm going to open the floor to discussion about any interesting mods in or without Arma 3. So we'll start with Staff Sergeant Donnelly. Any cool mods you'd like to share with the unit?
Yeah, as a Zeus, there's a couple fun ops that I've been really interested in trying to host. One, I would love to do like a Halo campaign or something like that, like an ODST campaign. That could make it. I feel like I can make a very good mission with that. There's a couple other ones I'd really be interested to add to our normal mod pack. Which one would be it's like a Crocus, I think you pronounce it, FPV drone. So it sounds like an actual FPV drone trying to buzz your head and everything. I feel like that could actually add a very interesting dynamic to our missions and just add another something to look out for. And I feel like people might enjoy it.
Nice. Yeah, the FPV drone would certainly be interesting. I would be very upset getting annihilated by one of those, to say the least. Staff Sergeant McKenzie, anything from you?
So I've been on a SOG Prairie Fire kick recently when it comes to Arma 3, and I looked into some mods for myself to just generally play like on my free time. One thing that I absolutely miss that we do, and I'm hoping that we do it again this holiday season once the campaign slowly starts to come to an end, is bringing back that we'll do like mod pack fun ops and stuff like that, like what Sergeant Donnelly's saying. Like if we do like a Halo themed fun op, a 40k fun op, I want to go back into into SOG Prairie Fire and specifically do the Way City Battle for the Citadel 1968 mod by a guy named Graf Maximus. Sorry. That is probably one of the best looking city mods that I think that I've seen on Arma. Arma has a really bad issue of not having a whole lot of interactable buildings that you can do. But the Way City mod for SOG Prairie Fire is one of the cleanest looking mods that's out there right now for as far as like maps goes.
Right on. I was actually in a Vietnam Milsim Arma 3 Milsim unit for a bit, so yeah, I get it. It's a ton of fun. Corporal Author.
Yo,
Answer the fucking question, you shitbag.
Oh, you shitter.
I could not help it. I'm sorry.
Answer the fucking question.
God fucking damn it, Corporal. Oh God.
Son of a fucking bitch.
I'm probably gonna have to piggyback off what the staff sergeants have said here a little bit. That last holiday, I think it was last year's holiday exodus or the year before, where we did God, what was that movie? God, Starship Troopers.
Yeah.
And we just fought all those bugs, and you could just hear the screaming from across the map. That was pretty fun. I am kind of a Star Wars nerd, for anyone who doesn't know. If you just mention Star Wars, I kind of perk up and I'll listen to anything you tell me. But I really, just because I hate myself and I want to play more Arma, if I'm really fighting myself missing Arma during the week, I will load up. There's I think it's the 501st mod pack, and you can actually go in and you can play on different planets like Hoth and things like that.
Well, you know what they say, good subordinates emulate their betters, so good answer there, Corporal.
Thank you.
As for myself, I'll reiterate the importance of Skyrim romance mods. Where would we be without Skyrim romance mods, honestly?
Sergeant Starlin reporting in, interrupting the regularly scheduled programming to bring you a montage of different Skyrim romance mods.
So you can't see it, but I'm raising my hand right now. I have a question.
Go ahead.
What is, I think I'm going to regret this, what is a Skyrim romance mod?
It's a mod that adds new NPCs for you to romance, and depending on how not safe for work it is, it can get into some not safe for work elements.
Oh, Lover's Lab.
Yeah, buddy. Oh, Donnelly knows what I'm talking about. And dude, they even had him in Oblivion.
Unfortunately, I know what that is.
God bless America.
Yeah, there's some good ones out there. When I was a lonely young man, Skyrim romance mods were my guilty pleasure.
What is that thing, Wabbajack, where they do the mod packs and it does everything for you? I try to use that, and then the mod pack it literally had like some dependency from Lover's Lab. I was like, I'm not downloading that. Fuck you. I'm not downloading anything from that website. Like I barely trust Nexus. Like the fuck.
All right. Well, that wraps up our quarterly unit podcast. I would love to thank Sergeant McKenzie and Sergeant Donnelly for stopping by. Thanks for your time, guys. I hope we didn't take up too much of it. And yes, Darley, you can roll the outro now.
So that romance mod, can you?
Yeah.